had a opportunity down the road. A guy was selling some used beehives. He had an incident with a bear similar to ours, except his didn't end well. So he decided he was going to sell out. So we had an opportunity to buy a whole stack of hives. So I got to looking in his hives, and they're pretty dirty, and there's a lot of black fungi and different things in here. So when you buy a hive from someone, you want to make sure that you scrape all that old stuff off, and then you want to go in to take your torch and just kind of go along it, just edge real quick. It don't take much, just till you see the change colors. And what that'll do will burn off any bacteria or anything, or disease or anything that might still be in your box. So go through your whole box, just clean it right down. So that leads us to, I thought maybe I would show you all the components of a beehive. This one here, of course, we purchased used, and the person I bought it from built it himself, which he did a really good job. A lot of people use a screen for air on your bottom board or your bottom stand, where none of mine have this mesh on the bottom. I always just have a board with a raised entrance. We and Jen were talking earlier, then I got to thinking, I had a new brood box, or a new brood bottom, which this would be your bottom brood box. This is where you want to place your queen when you get her, or anything brand new. And you just go right through here. Once it's clean, just go through here and put in. This box is a little narrower. It holds 9 frames, where my other boxes down below hold 10. We decided that I completely forgot that I had a brand new bottom box, so I'm not really going to use this. I might use it later. Now, I talked to a guy on the internet this morning, so we're going to be able to purchase one more Nook this year, and it's June 11th, so we still have lots of time for the goldenrod and all the flowers to come out to build in a whole nother colony. My other ones are about a month ahead, so we're going to be fine though. Here in a couple days we'll start with this. This is a brand new box, never used. It's been sprayed with a wax protector, and this is the one I'm going to set up. Now this one comes with a bottom board, which I don't know if I like it better or not, but it's what we have right now. And then you have your selector here. This is your entrance area for your bees. In the summertime, you would have it open, so there's a larger gap. And then in the wintertime, you would just roll it this way so that there's a smaller gap. And then the bees will make a lot of heat and keep it in there to try to salvage them for the winter. So once you have your base set, when you do your base, you want to have it off the ground, like 10 inches or so. I would, I'm going to show you all this stuff here in a minute too. I'm just going to use some cinder blocks. I think they're 9 inches, I don't know, I didn't measure them. It's just to keep the moisture out of the bottom of the box, so the bees can go in and out, and there's not on the landing here, you don't get a lot of wet build up dew or anything like that. So then once you have that on top of your cinder blocks, you'd set in your brood box. This is where your queen is going to start her life out. And I'd have that set like that. And then you have your frames. Now, of course, 99% of them are all wooden. I've seen some plastic ones, but I don't have any. But this sheet here is made of plastic, and it's already got honeycomb shapes going so that the bees can go on there and they already know how to build the cone out. So, or the comb. And I think just about everybody uses the same style. So you would load your box up like this. Oh, I don't know what I do with them queen boxes I have. Well, well, when I get the Nook, which a Nook is a box about this size, and it has 5 frames in it, but the queen will already be in the box with them. They'll already be on a colony established with your queen. So when you get your Nook box, I'd figure out how many frames are in that box, so 5. So I would have this ready like that, and then when I got the Nook box, which would have your bees in it, I would just pull those bees out of the smaller box and place them into this box. Now, I already talked to the guy, so I know the Nook box he's given me is a deep box, which is probably 10 or 12 inches deep, where these are 6 inches, which those are your supers will go on after. So his frames out of the Nook box will fit right into my box, and I won't have to worry about that. So once you get your bees in here, they'll transfer your frames into the hive. You should get, I think there's going to be 5, he said, in the Nook box. And we'll place them in here. My other box have what they call an excluder, which is a mesh that would go across here that wouldn't allow your queen bee to come up. The holes are so small, only the worker bees could come through. We're not going to do that on this style box. I'm just going to let them, I'm going to start out with the 2 boxes. Actually, you know what, I'm not going to. I'm going to start them out with just 1 box and put the lid on it. I do have a nice brand new stainless lid at the shop I'll have to go get. This is a lid that came with that other set. So I'll start them out with my new stainless lid, but this is the one we have right now. And once I place the Nook or the new hive or the new swarm into my hive, we'll place this on here, and I won't touch. I'll give them some sugar water or something to help them kind of build out a little bit, but only for maybe 10 to 15 days. And then I'll take this off and see how they're doing. If it looks like they're doing really well, I'll go ahead and add another deep box with another 9 frames in it. Of course, I'll have this full. There won't be any gaps, and there won't be any gaps in here. Then when you put them in, you want to make sure all your frames are in there, but with no gaps and tight. So then you'll just, once they're doing really well, and you want to just keep building up, I'll place the second large box. So these will both be brood boxes. So if you look here, this guy didn't clean his very well. There's the honeycomb on. See how they draw it out from the plastic frame? So this guy, he didn't clean much of his stuff very well. I'll go through everything and redo it. And they'll start filling, once they get the comb out to this level, they can't go any farther because you keep your frames tight together. And they'll start filling them with brood. But you see how much easier it is for them with this comb already started. They can just go around and just start it out and working. Where a lot of guys will just have wires instead of this backing, wires across here, and then the comb will be up here and it'll be just hanging in there on these wires. And that's how you would get your honeycomb product, that you would want to sell a whole chunk of honeycomb to somebody. But I'm not going to be doing that. I'm just looking for honey and wax this year. So, but yeah, that definitely needs a good cleaning, huh? And then once they start, this box starts filling out and it's out to like the last couple racks or something, then we'll add the super to it, which is a shorter, smaller box. It's a 6-inch box. We'll put this. I'll put the queen excluder in here where she cannot come up into this box, because you don't want brood and babies or anything up top here. You want them to fill out these trays with nothing but honey. You do not, so I guess that's controversial about the excluder. I'm just going to put it in there because I don't want her up here laying brood or anything. So, and then that would be about it on this type of hive. And then you would just cover it. Of course, I'm going to use a different top. I have a stainless steel one. Both my other hives have a mesh screen up here, an aerated screen that actually holds this off. You can see on this guy how he built it. I would have probably put a little tiny something in here just so that there could be a little bit of airflow, but that's okay. Our other hives down below, one of them is the new flow hive. Now, down below I have 2 brood boxes going already, and they're already starting to fill up. So what I'll do is put my queen extruder on my big box down below, and then we'll switch over to, or just place this flow hive on top. You can see here I like Amazon. I had bought a whole kit that came with all the tools. These are nice little scissor tools you could use to lift out your frames. I haven't used that. Got a little comb rake for going into your frame here. If they're all built up and you just want to kind of rake off some of that brood, you can use a tool like that. Here's I have a couple of these. This is called a J hook here, and it's got this nice sharp edge here, and then it's got this pry. What the J hook is designed, it'll go in between these frames, and then you can just lift right up here. I've never used this one because I had an older one here. That's pretty much the same thing. You just slide it down in there, and it hooks right on top. Then free that up, and then you slide it in this side, free that up. Or if they're stuck together, this tool, you can pry them apart like that. This tool is probably the only tool you really need. But, and then of course there's all these different pry bars, different things. And I'm kind of addicted to Amazon. So if I see something for $2, I'll buy it, and then I'll never use it. But this, no idea. Maybe somebody can help me identify this. It looks like something I would use for a door screen. I don't know. I bought this so when I do, say I do get a queen cell in there and I want to build my own hive, I can put my queen in here. Then I could push her up to the top gently like that and hold her in place. And then I can just mark her, put a paint dot on her in here so that we can identify her in the cell. I haven't had bees long enough to be able to do this yet. I'm hoping that we grow into that. And this would be a queen transporter container that came with a little kit I bought. And this is the, if you're trying to get your queen, you can reach down, you see her, you find her, you can reach in there, possibly just scoop her out with that, and then keep your queen in this to transport her into a different box. If you're, say your box is full and they're looking to swarm, and you're getting a lot of queen cells growing on the bottom. They'll look like little cones growing in here, and they want a new queen. It's best to go in and get that queen out, take a few of these frames out, put her in a different hive, let them grow their, free up a few of these cells, let them grow their own queen, and just start another hive with the old queen, or they'll kill her. So I'm told. I haven't seen a lot of that yet. These here are food containers that you would just lock in here, just fill them with sugar water. You can hook them right to the frame, which is kind of nice. If you're pulling you got an empty frame, you take the frame out and just put it in there. They just open up like this, and you would just put some sugar water in there, close it up, put it in there. A lot of guys just put them on the sides over here. I'm using mason jars and pop bottles right now with a different type of feeder. I'm not probably going to use those, but they're an option. And then we have this scraper here is kind of nice for, I don't know if you can see if I come in this way. When it really builds up in here, you can get in there and really scrape out your corner. So it's a corner scraper. I'll probably end up using that quite a little bit, especially when you have bees in there and everything's so sticky and that you can just get in there and scrape it out with that. And then this here is for when you're harvesting. you'll use it across your frame like so. And what you'll do, you'll go across here with this tool and cut all the cap off. Then you can just scrape it into your container, because the cap, you can cook that down and use for wax as well. And then that'll expose all the honey. And then you just put that into your spinner, and then you spin your honey off it. Or you can scrape this, whatever, however you want to do it. So that's it. I have, this is a flow hive here. There's no real difference in the box, other than it has these little windows. Me and Jen put this together down to my shop. I had this stuff all over the shop the one day. There's still, I gotta pull the film out in here, but once the bees are in here, this will be a clear window, and you can watch your bees and see what they're doing. And just kind of lock it up. Well, how these work, you see, they're just like the comb in there. And what you do, once the bees fill these with honey, and this is all capped over, you put a rod in here, and what it does, it moves these back and forth, and the honey just drains to the bottom, and then comes out these plastic, you'll be putting these plastic tubes in there. I'll see if I can get one out for you. Of course, you leave this right on the hive, so you aren't bothering the bees at all. You would take this cap with your, there's a cap removal tool, just take that out. You put this tube in there, and then you can just set your, it'll be like here in the front, you would just set your jar down there, and you would be able to get the, it'll just drain into your jar. These are, I'm assuming these are made in China. Actually, they say that right there. But there's a company in Australia that make them. There's a bunch of different ones. Losing my paper. So that's that. And then we have, then a couple of your other tools you would have is your smokers. I have a couple of them. I got this one from a guy for free. It's all cracked and broke, but it still sort of works. But they had one of these on Amazon for $9. The only reason I really bought it was to get these quick start pellets. That way you don't have to fill it with full grass or whatever. You just throw those in there and just hold your torch in there for just a few seconds. And they'll take right off and go. And you'll shut your lid. Just let it set for a minute. Give it a few pumps and it'll just start smoking for you. And of course you want to always use your gloves. Or I see a lot of guys use rubber gloves and that. Whatever works for you. And then you want to use your veil. We got a bunch of different veils, and then you got your little sweeper. So that's that. I think that's about covers everything I have. I'm gonna probably put this on our other box next week to let them start filling this up and see how it goes. I'll let you know how it works out. Thank you.